Jealousy unleashed. Shu Kai confronts a co-star over Tan Songyun Backstage. The air was electric backstage that night. The sound of applause from the stage filtered through the curtains, a dull roar compared to the storm brewing in Shu Kai's chest. Just minutes earlier, Tan Songyun had laughed, just a little too brightly, at a joke whispered by her charming co-star during rehearsals. The cameras had already caught the exchange, and fans were already dissecting every second on social media. But what they didn't see was the way Shu Kai's jaw tightened, or how he walked off stage before the lights even dimmed. Something in him snapped. Tan had been working closely with that co-star, a rising actor famous for his flirtatious energy. The two had undeniable chemistry on screen, a fact the producers had leaned into shamelessly. Shu Kai had brushed it off at first, telling himself it was all acting. But tonight, as he watched the co-star linger just a little too long with Tan after the cameras stopped rolling, jealousy dug its claws deep. He didn't storm in immediately. Shu Kai was controlled, deliberate. He waited, watching from the shadows as Tan and her co-star shared a private laugh. The co-star's hand brushed Tan's arm. That was the moment Shu Kai stepped forward. The hallway behind the stage was dim, the hum of stagehands moving props fading into the distance. Shu Kai's tall frame seemed even larger in the low light, his eyes sharp with a fire that few had seen before. "Enough," he said, his voice low but laced with steel. The co-star froze mid-step, turning to face him with a nervous chuckle. "Hey, Kai, what's this about?" "You know exactly what this is about." Shu Kai's words cut through the air like glass shattering on concrete. Tan Songyun, caught between them, felt her heart drop. She'd seen Shu Kai protective before, when the media twisted her words, when directors dismissed her talent. But this was different. This was raw, unfiltered emotion boiling over. Her co-star tried to play it cool. "It was just a joke. We were rehearsing." Shu Kai took a step closer, the tension so thick you could almost taste it. "Rehearsing doesn't look like that. Don't mistake her kindness for an invitation." His tone wasn't a shout, it was worse. Calm. Controlled. Dangerous. The co-star glanced at Tan, searching for support, but she stayed silent, her hands twisting nervously. She knew Shu Kai's jealousy wasn't baseless, this wasn't about ego. This was about every moment the world had doubted her, every time she'd been hurt, and every promise Shu Kai had silently made to protect her. "Listen," the co-star finally said, his smile faltering, "I didn't mean." "You didn't think," Shu Kai interrupted, his voice like a blade. "She's not just another actress to flirt with backstage. She's everything to me." The words hung there, heavy and undeniable. A stagehand passing by slowed, sensing the tension, then quickly ducked away. The incident would be whispered about before the night was over. Tan finally stepped forward, placing a gentle hand on Shu Kai's arm. "Kai, please." Her voice was soft, a plea layered with affection and fear of escalation. He turned to her, and for a moment the fire in his eyes softened. "But only for her." The co-star, now pale, nodded quickly. "Understood," he muttered, retreating down the hallway. But even as he walked away, the damage was done. The confrontation had already become the kind of legend that spreads like wildfire through studios and fan forums. Tan let out a shaky breath. "You didn't have to do that in front of everyone," she whispered. Shu Kai looked down at her, his chest still heaving slightly. "I couldn't stand there and watch him disrespect you. Not after everything you've been through. Not after what we've fought for." Outside, the night sky stretched endlessly, but backstage, the world felt small and suffocating. They slipped away to a quiet corner, away from prying eyes. Shu Kai reached out, brushing a strand of hair from Tan's face. "Do you have any idea what you mean to me?" Her eyes shimmered. "I do. But Kai, your career, people will talk." "Let them talk," he replied without hesitation. "I'd rather face their gossip than watch you be hurt." Minutes later, a crew member leaked a blurry photo of Shu Kai glaring at the co-star, and by morning, social media was ablaze. Camera with flash Shu Kai caught in backstage blow-up over Tan Songyun. Fire is jealousy tearing the set apart? Broken heart Shu Kai, she's everything to me. Fans were divided. Some applauded his passion. This is what real love looks like, defending her no matter what. Others worried about the fallout. Shu Kai's temper might cost him roles. But the majority, they couldn't get over his declaration. She's everything to me. Later that night, Shu Kai drove Tan home in silence, the city lights flickering past the windshield like fleeting memories. When they reached her apartment, he turned off the engine but didn't move. I know I scared you, he said quietly. You didn't scare me, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. You scared me for you. He took her hand, their fingers intertwining like puzzle pieces. I'd do it again, he said simply. Because you're worth every risk. By the next morning, fan edits of the confrontation flooded the internet. Dramatic music, slow-motion zooms, captions quoting Shu Kai's words, it was everywhere. #jealousy unleashed and #she's everything to me were trending for hours. In one particularly viral edit, the clip cut between Shu Kai's backstage glare and scenes from their most romantic on-screen moments, as if art and reality had collided. The production team tried to downplay the incident, issuing a brief statement. Creative tensions happen on set. The cast remains professional and focused on delivering a great show. But fans weren't buying it. They knew what they'd seen. That evening, Tan Songyun sat on her balcony, scrolling through the endless fan posts. One video caught her off guard. A fan had overlaid Shu Kai's backstage words, "She's everything to me," on a montage of their shared smiles and quiet touches. Her eyes filled with tears. A knock on the door broke her reverie. She opened it to find Shu Kai, holding 2 steaming cups of tea. "No cameras this time," he said with a small smile. They sat together, the city stretching out beneath them. Tan leaned her head on his shoulder. "You didn't have to fight for me tonight." "I wasn't fighting," he replied softly. "I was reminding the world who you are to me." The night deepened, but their bond felt brighter than ever. The world could whisper and speculate all it wanted, the truth between them was unshakable. For Shu Kai and Tan Songyun, jealousy wasn't a weakness. It was a sign that even in an industry built on illusion, what they had was real. And as the lights of the city twinkled like distant stars, Shu Kai whispered the words only she was meant to hear. "I'd choose you in every lifetime." The echo of Shu Kai's words, "She's everything to me," still clung to the backstage walls like smoke after a fire. Word of the confrontation hadn't just spread, it had exploded. By morning, every gossip account on Weibo and Instagram had reposted shaky videos and grainy photos of Shu Kai's glare. Fan forums burned with speculation, and hashtags soared to the top of trending lists. Tan Songyun's phone buzzed relentlessly on her nightstand, each vibration another notification she didn't want to see. She sat curled on her couch, knees pulled to her chest, her tea gone cold on the coffee table. The world's fascination with their relationship was nothing new, but this felt different. She hadn't seen Shu Kai since he'd dropped her off, their conversation lingering in unfinished fragments. Across the city, Shu Kai stood at the edge of his apartment balcony, the city lights sprawled like a constellation beneath him. He replayed the scene in his head, Tan's wide eyes, the co-star's awkward retreat, the way the air had thickened with the weight of his words. He wasn't proud of losing his composure. He knew what the industry could be like, unforgiving, eager to spin a single moment into a scandal. But every time he thought of the co-star's hand brushing Tan's arm, his chest tightened. His phone buzzed. It was a message from Tan. "We need to talk. Tonight." He typed back without hesitation. "Always." They met at a quiet late-night cafe they both loved, a place where the baristas never leaked to the press. Shu Kai was already seated at their corner table when Tan arrived, wrapped in a soft cream sweater, her hair pulled into a loose bun. The moment she stepped in, her eyes found his, and for a heartbeat, the world outside vanished. She slid into the booth across from him. The space between them felt like a battlefield. "You didn't have to do that," she said gently, her voice steady despite the turmoil in her chest. His hands tightened around his coffee cup. "You think I could just stand there and watch?" "I think you could have trusted me to handle it," she replied, searching his face. "You know how people twist things. They'll use this to hurt you." He looked up, eyes blazing, but softened when he saw the flicker of worry in hers. "Songyun, I wasn't thinking about them. I was thinking about you." The barista came by, dropping off a plate of pastries they hadn't ordered, an unspoken gesture of support. Shukai reached across the table, his hand brushing hers. For a second, she hesitated, then intertwined her fingers with his. "You've always been my calm in the chaos," he said quietly. "But tonight, I saw something, and it was like the world narrowed to that one moment. I couldn't let it slide." Her lips curved into the faintest of smiles. "You're impossible. And you love me for it," he teased softly, earning a reluctant laugh from her. Elsewhere, the co-star sat in his dressing room, scrolling through the avalanche of online commentary. The video clip was everywhere, Shukai stepping forward, shoulders squared, the whispered words that fans had lip-read in to stay away from her. His manager entered, shaking his head. "This is bad press." The co-star exhaled, running a hand through his hair. "I didn't mean for any of this." "Intent doesn't matter," the manager replied. "The narrative is out of our hands now." The production team, sensing potential chaos on set, scheduled a team meeting the next day. When Shukai and Tan arrived, whispers rippled through the room. Crew members exchanged glances, waiting for sparks to fly. The co-star avoided Shukai's gaze, but Tan broke the tension by greeting everyone warmly. Shukai followed her lead, his demeanor calm but guarded. During a break, the co-star approached him cautiously. "Listen, about last night." Shukai held up a hand. "Let's keep it professional. But understand this, she deserves respect. Always." The co-star nodded, chastened, and walked away. That evening, Tan's social media lit up with support. Fans posted collages of Shukai's most protective moments, photos of him shielding her from paparazzi cameras, holding her hand tightly at events, even adjusting her coat on a windy day. The caption on one viral post read, "He doesn't just play the hero on screen, he is one." In another clip, fans overlaid dramatic music on the blurry backstage video, turning Shukai's glare into a cinematic moment. Later that night, Shukai and Tan walked hand in hand through a quiet park, the chaos of the day fading beneath the rustle of leaves. The path was lit by scattered lanterns, casting warm pools of light on the ground. Tan stopped near a small fountain, her breath misting in the cool night air. "You know, you scare me sometimes." His brow furrowed. "Scare you?" "Not in a bad way," she said quickly. "It's just, the way you love. It's so fierce, so absolute. It's like you'd burn the world down for me." He stepped closer, his hands resting on her shoulders. "I would. But I'd rather build a world with you than destroy one." Her eyes shimmered, and for a moment, neither spoke. The fountain bubbled softly, the city's distant hum a muted backdrop to their silence. They continued walking, their fingers entwined. Shukai stole a glance at her profile, illuminated by the lanterns. "Do you regret this?" he asked suddenly. "Being with you," she replied. "Never. But the scrutiny, the whispers, the fights." She stopped, tugging on his hand so he faced her. "Shukai, I've been through storms alone. But with you, even the thunder feels like music. Don't ever doubt that." Meanwhile, fan speculation reached fever pitch. Headlines screamed. Behind-the-scenes blow-up, Shukai's jealousy or true love. Tan Songyun in the middle of backstage drama, what's next? But the narrative began to shift. Influential bloggers posted heartfelt takes about Shukai's loyalty, reframing the story as a testament to devotion rather than ego. One fan tweet went viral. "Jealousy isn't always ugly. Sometimes it's proof that someone values what they're afraid to lose." Back in Tan's apartment, they curled up on the couch, the flicker of a movie on the TV ignored as Shukai traced circles on her palm. "You know this won't be the last time people test us," she murmured. "I know," he said. "But every test just makes me more sure." "Of what?" He looked at her with that steady, unshakable gaze she'd fallen for. "That you're worth every battle. Every headline. Every jealous moment." Outside, the city pulsed with its usual rhythm, but for Shukai and Tan Songyun, the world had shrunk to this: two hearts, one promise, and a love strong enough to weather every storm. As Tan drifted to sleep against his chest, Shukai whispered into her hair, words only for her ears. "They can keep watching, keep talking. But they'll never understand. This is forever." And in the quiet of that room, with the world raging outside, Forever felt closer than ever.